as an immigrant, I can always relate to how bad it was back home. Here in America, I think most people just don't understand how good you have, how much freedom you have in this country, right? For me, it's like, that's why for most people, oh, you from a manager to a dishwasher, right? But for me, it was like, it's still better than back home.
Welcome back to the Sunshine Cafe, where we pour positive back into your day, sharing stories from real people who have made it through some real struggles, but were able to restore their health, hope, and peace. I'm Lisa Roers, your host, and as a certified coach, I'm here to guide you to be your best self-advocate, to help you restore your health, ignite your faith, and conquer those fears while you navigate your own healing journey so you can eventually exchange your dis-ease for durability. If you're looking for hope and encouragement to live a life you love, then you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Sunshine Cafe. In 2022, nearly 1 million adult immigrants took the oath of allegiance and became U.S. citizens. The process is called naturalization, and it includes a pretty significant 10-step process, which culminates with the naturalization oath of allegiance to the United States of America. I thought this was really interesting because I had never heard that oath before, and I want to share it with you. The naturalization oath of allegiance to the United States of America goes like this. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty of whom which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. I have had a couple dear friends go through this process of naturalization. It's challenging for sure, and they taught me a lot of things about this amazing country that I call my own, that I had either never been taught or forgot somewhere along the way. Perspective, my friends, is key. People come to America because we have a beautiful country. We are blessed with the most amazing natural resources, opportunities to learn, to work, and freedoms available so you can pursue your dreams. That perspective, my friend, is a valuable one to understand. And my friend and today's guest, Chee Chaw, understands it better than anyone because he did exactly that. He came to America from Malaysia to begin a new life. Currently, Chee works as a release manager at Dell, but he also loves to serve as a financial coach, and he mentors people on the importance of networking and making meaningful connections with others. His warm personality and tenacious spirit will encourage and inspire you. So let's dive in. Welcome back to the Sunshine Cafe. I am Lisa Roers, your host, and I have a special guest with us today. His name is Chee Chaw, and he is an inspiration. I think you are really going to enjoy hearing his story. Chee Chaw and I met from an online course, kind of accountability group, and God has taken his life down some weaving, winding pathways to bring him to exactly where he is today. And it's a beautiful story and really inspiring. So, Chee, welcome to the show, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Mr. for having me here.
We have had some fun conversations in our accountability group, and it's just been kind of a blast to see the things that God's put on your heart to put out into the world. Why don't you help our listeners understand a little bit about your background? You have such a wonderful, rich, beautiful background about how you got to America and what you're doing and what God's doing in and through you. So introduce yourself and share with us a little bit about that.
So my name is Chee Chaw. I came from Malaysia 27 years ago. And if you knew me 27 years ago, we wouldn't be speaking in English, right? I mean, I remember coming to America, it was taunting. I did not want to come to America at first. I was 17 years old. And I remember my mom told me that, here's some money, go make a life in America. And I remember that, okay, so America, they don't speak my language. So I have to speak English. Literally a few months before coming to America, I would go to my friends and they were English educated friends. I'll ask them, can you teach me some of them past tense, present tense, all that crazy tenses in English language, right? So, and they did. So that was 2-3 months before coming to America. And that, because I knew that in order to survive in another country, I better learn their language. And I did. Now, one of the reasons why my mom gave me the money, not because we were rich, we were not, by all means, we were actually poor in a third world country. I grew up in the project. So money is always a struggle for us. And my father, unfortunately, he gambles, he smoked. He was kind of abusive in many ways. We are known for the neighbor that would make a lot of noises in the midnight because my father would be drinking heavily and then come home and he would wake up the whole neighborhood. And to me, that was kind of normal, but I knew it wasn't normal because I didn't see any father who actually would wake up the entire neighborhood 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. So, but my mom had a better plan. She gave me 10,000 US dollars at the time to come to the US. Now, it might sound a lot, but as an international student, that wasn't a lot. It was enough for me for a year.
I was going to say that must have been a huge sacrifice for your mom, though.
It was, but at the same time, she knew that if she doesn't give it to me, my father will ask for the money. So either gambling or give it to the children, right? So it was a sacrifice for her too. I mean, she could use the money for whatever she wants, right? But she chose to give it to her children. So I took the money, I flew to America, and then just pretty much it. Now, I knew the money was limited. So I pretty much didn't spend anything. All I did was tuition fees. Now, I wasn't a believer at the time, but only by the grace of God, you have this Christian organization. They will say, hey, you know what? We have spring break. These are donated by some very generous donor. All you have to do just give $100. You'll pay for your hotel, your bus, or whatever. $100 for 1 week spring break trip.
And where was the trip to?
DC and New York. So and we were in Eastern Kentucky. So I was in Kentucky. So for a student in Kentucky, going to New York and only spend $100, that's actually not bad. Now, obviously, they're fundraising. So we were doing car wash for like 4 or 5 weekends. We were able to raise all that money. So basically, the whole trip was free, right? Now, Lisa, I don't know if you're old enough, but I'm old enough to know that back in the days, 25 years ago, there was no social media, right? The only social media back then really was you bring a camera, you roll the film, right? And you just take the picture and you have to wait, right? I mean, I still remember like 3 days is cheaper than 1 day, right? Or 1 hour. If you want to be really cheap, you have to wait for 1 week, right? So I chose
to develop the film, right? Yeah.
So, and I did. I waited for 1 week. I got the film. I sent it to my mom. I said, now here's the thing. Most of us, just like social media nowadays, right? You show them what you want to show them, right? And I told my mom, I'm doing very good. Life is good here. Thank you. This and that. Here's a picture I have in America, right? And then she didn't say a thing. It was a letter. So, she didn't reply me. And when I ran out of money, 18 months after, again, those money was enough for 1 year, not 18 months, but I was able to milk it all the way to extra semester, right? Yeah. And I called my Mom, I have no money. And I was probably before turning 19. And she was like, "Oh, you don't have money?" "Yeah, mom, I don't have any money. I need money to finish my school, right?" And she was like, "Well, I saw your picture going to New York and DC, and looks like you're having so much fun. And I didn't expect you to have fun in the US." And she hung up on the phone. She hung on me. And
So
that was it.
she kind of thought you were mismanaging the money she had given you.
Correct. And she wasn't counting one-to-one. She knows, to her, just like, I saw you having fun. And she hung up the phone.
I sent you there to work, not to go have fun, right? Or
Right.
not to work, but to go to school and learn,
No.
right? Okay.
Right. Give her credit. No, she still had that third world country mentality, right? Now, I was too. But again, how can you say no when the trip was free, right? Spring break, I couldn't work anywhere. So it's like, it's a win-win situation. I never told about that part of the equation. It's my fault, right? And before turning 19, I was like, oh my goodness, I have no money and I need to come up with the money to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's again, you guys have to look at it as an immigrant mindset, right? Is if you don't have money, you go back home. You go back to where you're from. It's not like you can just work because you need work visa. If you do the right way, you need work visa, you need this, you need that. I didn't have any of those.
So you couldn't get a normal job because you had to have a work visa. So what opportunities were even available to you for work?
On campus.
Okay.
So yeah, but that time it was, the minimum wage pay was $4.75. Luckily, for some reasons, the U.S. government was giving people from my country a special type of working permit because of Asian crisis. It was in 1999.
Okay.
The currency went down so bad in Asia that we were affected directly. So U.S. bases said, hey, we have this much student and the parents can't afford to give them that much money. And so somehow I got fortunate enough that I was able to work off campus.
Okay.
And this is funny. Now, I was 19 years old. I didn't know any better. I saw this one letter saying that go fish in Alaska. You can make $4,000 a month. I was like, oh, I like Alaska. Never been there. 4,000 a month times 3. I have 12,000. Why not? And I called this one friend, my friend Jim. Jim is dear friend. We'll talk a lot about him the next 20 minutes. I met him in the Christmas International House. Again, only by the grace of God. Now, I wasn't a believer. I actually made fun of Jesus before believing in him, right? But all this stuff, free stuff that I did was all donated by Christian organizations.
Wow.
And this one particular program was Christmas International House. I think I had to pay like $100 for the fees, but other than that, everything was pretty much free, right? I met this guy, Jim, at the New Year's Eve party. We just started talking, and then we exchanged email at the end of the trip. And I emailed him. I said, hey, Jim, I'm going to Alaska. And then to do this, to do that. And he was like, why are you going to Alaska? And then he was like, Chee, trust me. Don't go to Alaska to catch fish. You're not that type of... I mean, you have not seen any movies yet about catching...
Yeah, you don't know what you're getting into.
Why don't you come over here to Harrisburg? So he lives in Harrisburg. I have extra room. I can help you to find a job. So I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm talking about, but he knows. I think he knows what he's talking about. He's local. So I bought tickets, ground bus, took the bus from Kentucky to Harrisburg, stayed there for 3 months, and he found me 2 jobs, one for the state, the other one for AT&T. So 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. And those 3 months, I'm telling you, these probably one of them, it cemented how I look at life. At that point of before that, I was always looking at how do I get rich fast? How do I do the least to make the most? Those thinking, right?
Sure.
But he basically told me that those are nonsense. Chee, I know you work hard. I know you have that mentality, but don't let those mindset change the way you do stuff. He actually about to kick me out one time. He was like, Chee, if you keep doing this kind of like stupid things, you can leave this house. I don't want you to be here. So that was like, okay, I'm halfway here. I cannot be kicked out because I want to make my goal, right, to pay to pay for tuition fees. So I stay around. I stay for 3 months there and make the money. And then I move on. I went back to school, and then I did the same thing. The next 2 summers, out working, come back, and and we continue to talk. I would go back to his house in the winter, not Thanksgiving, but Christmas break, because we had no place to stay anyway. So I would go to his house and hang out with him, and our relationship continues that way, right? I graduated in 2001. 9/11 happens. I graduated the same semester. So as you know, it was the worst time to find a job. Let alone I need the company to sponsor my visa. Again, people say that it's hard to find a job. It's harder to find a job that sponsors your visa as a foreigner. And here you go, Jim. He came up to me again on the phone. He would tell me that, Chee, what's your plan? I said, well, my plan is, make some money and go back home, but I need a work visa. And he was like, can you find one? I can't. 9/11. Like, nobody will hire me. So he called his brother. His brother happened to be working for a company, quite influential for the company, and he got me a job with the visa. Just like that, right?
Wonderful.
No question asked. They saw something in me too, right? I'm a pretty easygoing guy.
You weren't afraid to work hard.
Correct. So I was a management trainee for the cafeteria. Now, I was a hard worker, but I was a good leader. I was 21, right? I didn't know how to do it. Again, to make it worse, this is not my culture. I don't know any better, right? So I was having a hard time to be a manager. So there was an option given me, Chee, you're not going to be a good manager, so we won't be able to employ you as a manager. Or you can be a chef. Okay, but I don't even know how to make cheeseburger, right? They said, right, so you have to start from the very bottom. When they say very bottom, means washing dishes, sweeping the floor, like all that stuff, right? And I was like, you know what? I don't have a choice. And plus, I actually like cooking. I said, you know what? Let's just try that route. So I still remember Friday evening, I was the second shift supervisor or manager, whatever that means, right? I was dressing up like this, went to work, talking to my manager, the director, and then knowing that Friday would be the last day I dress up as a manager. Monday, I will have a uniform as a dishwasher. And just imagine that, right? It's like I had to prepare myself. And again, there's something about that too, right? And when people look at me, oh, what happened to you? Right? Because these are the same old customer. They saw me dressing up. They saw me washing dishes. Lesson learned for me is it was tough for me to adjust.
Yeah.
But I knew the end goal. The end goal was becoming a sous chef, hopefully chef manager.
Well, and that took a lot of humility on your part, and to swallow your pride and to kind of ignore, like you said, the comments from other people who were questioning, like you're looking like you're slipping backwards instead of progressing in your career. But you kept your eye on the prize, future prize of where you were going to go eventually.
Yes. So yeah, it wasn't easy, trust me. It really wasn't easy. I did it, right? In 18 months. So I know, again, the good thing was my manager and I, we have the plan, right? Okay, let's just see how much you can handle. So I was able to do prepping the salad, getting this, getting that. So I was doing pretty good and a good cook. It took 18 months, a year and a half, right? I remember the 18 months, the cafeteria that we work is in the corporate setting. So we work inside the building. So our customer is everybody in that particular building. We don't take any outside customer. It's only inside customer. We have about, I don't know how many, maybe 2,000 employees in that one building, right? It's an IT company. So I will talk to people here and there. Somehow I heard that they were hiring for entry-level technicians in one of the departments. And I was like, okay, you know what? I like cooking, but I also don't mind working in the IT field. And again, by talking, and then I found the right people, and they said that, Chee, then you have a degree, right? Yeah, I have a degree.
And your degree was in the technology world.
In technology world. Right. In a business IT world, right? So they said, Chee, I mean, I cannot guarantee, but give it a try. So I talked to my manager in the cafeteria. I said, hey, you know what? What do you think? And she was like, Chee, if that doesn't work out, you can always come back.
Well, that was nice.
And then she was telling me that you were one of the best employee I have, right? When you don't show up, I know you were sick, and you always show up. And when I see people, you always there. So like it's a 24/7 operations cafeteria. So when they needed people on third shift, I would stay late. If they need people on first shift, I would go early. So yeah, I would stay all the time. I think that was a reputation that I have.
Yes, the reputation to always be willing to show up, and your integrity, that your word was your honor and you would do what you said you would do. That's awesome.
Right. So that was me. And then when my hiring manager was talking to the manager from cafeteria, and she told me this, I told your hiring manager that she was the best guy I had. Not because of skill, but he was always here. If you show him, he understands how to do it, he will do it. So that was her recommendation to my hiring manager. And of course, fast forward, I got the job. I moved on to the IT side. There was a second and third shift job. So I had to work odd hour, right? 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. I worked there for almost 3 years, and then I moved on to second shift. Around that time, I got married. I got married to a lady. Now, again, based on my background, right, money was always important. Of course, right, I had to make money to finish the school, this and that. And watching my parents struggling with money growing up,
yes,
I did not want to be like my father. And there's just something about like how sometimes people say, my father was like that, therefore I'm like that, right? And I am anything but my father.
I think parents teach us good lessons of what to do, or are an example of what not to do. Either way, we learn from them, right?
Yes. And now I'm not here to badmouth my father. I love my father. He's always my hero. Right? I wish he knew something that he didn't. And I wish that he could have been a better father to all of us, but yet he wasn't. So what I can do is I can be the better father for my children, right? Deep down, I still think that my father is a wonderful guy. I was a wonderful guy, hero in my eyes. So fast forward again with my whole working 3 years prior, found the love of my life. Maybe, we got married, but something happened. So we have 2 houses, and the car was all paid off. I was very good with my money, like paying off everything. And I got this one phone call from a mortgage company, and I don't know why they call me. I have the home phone number, but they call my cell phone and says, Mr. Chow, you're late for your mortgage, 3 months, something like this. I said, no, my wife take care of the mortgage. Oh, no, you're late. That's why I'm calling you. Okay, all right, fine. I may find what happened. I'll call. So I work late shift. So I went home. I talked to my ex-wife now. I told her that, hey, what happened? And she was telling me that I spent the money on gambling.
Just like your dad.
Just like my dad, yes.
Oh my God.
And to me, that was tough. Very, very tough, right? I mean, like, I tried everything not to be in my father's situations, yet this happened to me. But again, I was trying to do the right thing. I told my ex then, you know what? Let's take care of the business, right? Let's pay off everything, and you can get some help. My friend Jim, I talk to Jim probably weekly basis, right? I'll call him. I told him, hey, this and that. And he was like, you know what? She needs help. She's gonna need those like professional help, right? And I did tell her that, and she was like, no, I don't need help because I love you enough that I would stop. And I was okay. If you say that, fine. I respect what you say. However, you know my background. If this happened again, I'm walking out from this relationship. And that was it, right? And I meant what I say. But everything was fine. And I'm laughing here because it's actually so long now. 6 months after that, I got a phone call again from a
mortgage company. Oh, no.
And then they said, Mr. Chow, you're late for the
Oh, no.
Your mortgage. And this time, I didn't need any explanation. I call her. I say, I just got a phone call from mortgage company. And she didn't say a thing. I say, did you go back again? She didn't say a thing. And you knew what I say. I meant what I say, right? She didn't say a thing. That night, I didn't go back home. I actually went to my friend's house. I stayed overnight. I knew she worked first shift, so I waited. I waited for a certain time. I went back, and I took one luggage. That's it. Just a one luggage. I have, like what made them to me most, couple of pictures, and that's all I got. Now I left 2 houses behind. I left one new car we just bought, right? So it was heartbreaking, but I knew that the reason I did that, though, right, is I saw my mom's life. I did not want to become my mom.
Right.
I saw how much she suffered the first 18 years of my life. I saw how my mom lived. I do not want to have that life, like that have a husband or spouse that had to go through that. And we didn't have children, so I said, you know what? I'm out. So I did. I left her, and we filed divorce, and I gave up just about everything. And what hurts the most was I was so good at saving, yet I got nothing left.
You worked so hard from the very bottom to get to where you were, and all of that was taken from you, basically.
Right. Now, again, I don't want to say it's all her fault. It's also my fault too, right? Because I didn't pay attention to her love language. So it's also my fault. I don't want to make her like the bad person, right?
Yeah.
If I knew what I know now, yes, I would definitely won't be working 7 days a week. I won't be working 12 hours a day. But back then, that IT department, unlimited overtime. So it was crazy.
Wow.
And because I worked third shift, so I had to sleep during the daytime. So I really didn't see my ex.
Yeah, the two of you were never together. You weren't able to develop that relationship.
Correct. Correct. So, but we have a lot of material stuff. We have houses. We have car. We went on vacation.
But those things don't really bring fulfillment.
Correct. Correct. So it was my fault. I would say,
well, it was a team effort. We'll just say that was a team effort. You both participated in that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then fast forward, I was heartbroken, but I was in a very dark place. And again, I called my friend Jim, and we were talking, and he was telling me that, you know what, Chee, you try your best, you just move on. But I couldn't move on. I mean, there was some bitterness in my heart. Like there was some unforgiveness in my heart. Now, I didn't know who Jesus was. I know who Jesus was. And Jesus is the one reason he died, he called himself a God, but yes, he couldn't help himself. Those are like my thinking of
you
Jesus.
knew factually who he was, but you hadn't connected with him yet. Got it.
But you know what, Lisa? Jim, again, go back to him, right? When I was staying with that one son, right, he would go to church on Sunday, but he never pushed me do anything. And I asked him this question. I was 19 years old. I was like, hey, Jim, why do you go to church? And why don't you just stay late? And like me, stay late, street, right? We work hard enough. And he was like, well, I actually study religious topics. And I found that Christianity is the only religion that offers forgiveness. And that's all he said. And to me, okay, whatever, right? So that I was 19 years, I didn't know what that means. And 10 years fast forward, when I was doing some really stupid things, and because of my bitterness, and I was like, I need to forgive. But somehow there was a voice coming to me say, I need to forgive her. I need to forgive myself.
Wow.
Right.
Yes.
And I was
that theme stayed with you all those years later, that one theme
and
of
it he wasn't very preaching, he was actually late for church. He was downstairs. I still remember I was in the living room. He was coming downstairs. He said, Chee, I gotta go. I'm late for church. So but he told me that 2 sentences and he walked. And that's it. That was it, right? But this stuck in me. That's what I mean by planting a seed, right? Like you just don't know. Sometimes we don't have to speak much sometimes as a Christian, right? Just the right moment in his plan, basically.
Yeah.
They came to me and I was like, you know what? All that places I went, obviously not going to do me any good. Maybe, just maybe, I should go to church.
Just try it. See what happens.
And now I'm just trying to be real, right? I always thought that church wants your money, right? That's all they want, right? So as long as I don't give them any money, if I give them money, I'll give them $1, right? And that's it, right? Washington, the president of Washington is the #1 visitor in church, right? So
the $1 bill,
right? So, I said, I'm not giving them money, but I'm gonna get what I can get, right? That was my first mentality. But again, I met the girl, wonderful girl, and we start talking, we hang out, and my friend Jim, they met too, and he actually told me that, Chee, you had dated a few times now. This is the girl. This is the girl that you want.
Wow.
And if she say yes to you, consider yourself a blessed man. Wow.
Sometimes I think we need that perspective from a friend to validate people, because we get kind of our blinders on when we're in love and we don't see them for who they really are. So that's great that Jim was able to give you that.
Well, he was my side mirror. Right?
Yeah.
He was helping me to get the blind spot, right?
Exactly.
And again, I'm very thankful for my friend Jim. And fast forward, the girlfriend, the girl that I like, we end up dating. She's a hardcore Jesus follower. And now at that time, my career was okay. It wasn't like I'm up there. No, but I make all my money from overtime. So that's how I make the money. And she was already up here career-wise, right? And she chose me, obviously not because of money, because I was broke. I was still paying off from my previous marriage stuff, right? But she told me that you are a hard worker, and I need you very good with your money. I know the reason why what your divorce was. And I was already done divorcing. So, that's when we started becoming more serious. So those are the qualities that she knew that she saw in me. What I saw in her is the fear of God that she has. And I wasn't quite yet a believer. I was still kind of like trying to prove her wrong. So, but I saw that faith in her that I want that. I want that faith. I don't have that. And that's how we kind of get really trying to get to know each other. And again, we got married. This is the funniest part, right? And that I'm a financial coach, right? So I work for Dell. It's an IT company. Next year will be like 20 years with the company. I changed different position every few years, but it's always the same company. But I remember because I was so good with my money, in order to pay up all that debt that I accrued from my previous marriage, I had to downsize my lifestyle. So
Mm.
I actually was staying in the basement, my friend's basement. Uh, and she lived in a very nice condo. So we are at the point that getting married, somebody had to move in, right? I can move into her place or she can move into my place. I told her that, why don't you move to my place? uh, from a, I don't know what they call like a sky high, high ceiling condo to a basement.
Wow. That's
Thank
lovely.
God, thank God that she understands that short term pain equal to long term gain. Right? I told her that, give me 3 years. Give us 3 years. I promise you that we will move out and to a nicer place, right? Because I needed to pay off everything. I needed to save enough emergency, but only then we can do what's best for us. And she did. And we
Wow.
moved there, but we are still faithful with our giving. Make
Mhm.
no mistake, we were faithful to our giving, but we are very, very cautious about the rest of the money that we have, right? We try to be a good steward. And here, going to church, the church that I go to, the pastor this was in Providence, Rhode Island. He said this one thing: "Give, you shall receive." Right, and this is from the book of Matthew. We all know that part. And I was at the point that I wasn't sure I was good enough to move up in my career because I was doing the same thing, and everybody said, yeah, Chi, you are hardworking, but that's all you can do, right? I always get that from my coworker. But because of that one sentence, that one scripture, it changes my mind. All the time, I was like, instead of me trying hard to do all this over time, why don't I ask God, like, God, if you want me to be the man of the house, the leader of the house, being able to provide financially or spiritually, show me a way. I want that position. Now, obviously, it didn't happen overnight, but somehow I worked my way up and I got the positions, and all of a sudden the salary was pretty good. I mean, like, oh, okay, And again, give God all the glory, right? And sometimes scripture can do that to you. But
Mhm.
once you believe it, it's in your heart, you know that, you have to ask so you can receive.
Yeah.
Fast forward, so again, still working, trying to be the best father that I can, best husband that I can, be very involved with the church, and then try to be the father I long for as a child, right?
Yeah. The father
And
you're glad couldn't be, right?
right, but again, I still love my father, and
Of
I don't want to say that, like that's why some of the audience here, if you don't think you are a good father, you're good enough for your children.
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short, right?
Mhm.
As an immigrant, I can always relate to how bad it was back home. Here in America, I think most people just don't understand how good you have, how much freedom you have in this country, right? For me, it's like, that's why for most people, you from a manager to a dishwasher, right? But for me, it was like, it's still better than back home.
Mm.
I mean, there's a
It was
comparison.
opportunity. It was opportunity to grow and to learn and to move your career from one place to another.
Correct. So yeah, so that with that mindset, it could always be worse, but you can always look for better. That mindset would change the way you look at things.
Mm.
Now, and I think I told you this story too before, Lisa, right? So 2 years ago, I was diagnosed brain tumor. They found a brain tumor in me. Um, it was an incidental finding that I had no symptom whatsoever. Somehow the doctor say, go have an MRI done. And then they found a pretty big tumor in my left side. Now, before I knew that was a benign tumor, I thought that was, obviously they say I had tumor. You Google it, oh, I have 6 months left. It's like, that's in my mind, oh, I only have 6 months left. But Lisa, yes, I was sad, but there was a promise there that I wasn't too scared of dying for some reason because I knew I was safe.
Yeah.
Right. What I was sad was really leaving my children behind. They were still young, and leaving my wife behind. We still love each other, right? We still love each other. So that was the sad part. But then when they told me it's a benign tumor, and then what does that mean? Oh, well, there's some, you have to deal with some recovering issue. But other than that, you're not going to die unless something gone really, really bad. So here I am talking to you, recovering nicely, only by God's grace. But I remember when right before the surgery, when they put that thing on me, I told God that, God, if you let me go back to the new normal, like if I'm healthy again, I will not waste the talent that you gave me. I will be the best father, best husband, like I always been, right? Now, I'm not saying that I'm here all the way, right? I'm still a father that have flash, that I'm still like, I will still look at my children like, come on, guy, you can do better, right? But it gives you a different perspective. When you thought you were about to end your life here, yet God gave you a second chance, they give you a whole different perspective in life, right? So every time that something bad happened to me, I always told myself that I might not have this opportunity. So this always a second chance, right? So with that mindset, Lisa, that's pretty much my entire, like, I don't know, 30 minutes life story, right?
Yeah.
But
But there's so many elements of your story, Chee, that I think myself and anybody listening can really learn from. And then there's key things that you did along your journey that really made a difference. And I think it can make a difference in anybody's life. And the first one I hear you talk about a lot is your willingness to work hard.
Mm.
The second piece is your willingness to swallow pride and be humble and just work hard. Back to the first one. The third one is your faith, just trusting God, trusting that there's a better plan, trusting that you can work where you're at, but you're not going to be stuck there. You can always move up to a different level, but you're going to work hard with whichever opportunity is in front of you, right? And the last one, which you just mentioned, and you referred to it a couple of times earlier, is this beautiful perspective. And you have two really good perspectives. One, the perspective of your home in Malaysia, where life was not free, where you didn't have the opportunities that you have here, but also the opportunity or the perspective of your parents, where you didn't want to live the same kind of life in fear, in worry, in financial loss that your parents had. So that the humility, the perspective, the hard work, and the faith kind of all come together to bring your story. I mean, from washing dishes to now you're a financial coach for people. That is a beautiful journey, amazing journey, inspiring.
Yes. Yeah. So, but again, it's all by His grace.
Yeah.
Very thankful for His grace, for what He had done for us on the cross. It's a beautiful thing. I think that now I don't want to say people miss out not knowing Him, because obviously you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? But they do miss out by not knowing Him.
Very true.
Life is so much easier with His will, His plan, and you just have to be the good steward. You just do what's right in His eyes, and it's just that much easier, right? Yeah. But I do have to say that prayer will always come the first one, right? You always want, God, what do you want me to do? I mean, like, this is what I want, but tell me what you want, right? But again, never afraid of working hard. People always say that work-life balance, right? Absolutely is important, but sometimes there's a season for that, absolutely. But for most job out there that you truly want to be good at, you kind of have to be willing to do what other people don't want to do. Those are the stuff that I take it to my heart. And I remember this one, my mentor told me that, Chee, you and I, we are not super smart. We know that. We're not like the programmer, right? Like you know that, but we're not. But we have something other people don't have. It's work hard every single moment. Now, my phone right here, I don't have my phone with me when I work. I don't have my phone with me when I work with my children, for the most part, unless I want to take picture with them. But for the most part, if I'm with kids, I put this phone away from me because I don't want that to be my distraction, right? Focus. Focus is the one big thing that we don't have in these generations. So keep doing the good thing. Try to be the good team members. Those are stuff that I always tell my friends, my client, my coworker, step by step. Nobody's going to look at you how you do it. They just look at you if you finish it, right?
Right.
So I'm looking at that. I have another 20 years to go. Hopefully, these 20 years, I'm going to be the good witness to other people and do what I can. And whatever that he wants me to do, that's pretty much it, Lisa.
I love that. I love that, Chee. Thank you. Your story is so beautiful, and you do have such a humble spirit. I know you, and I just know that your desire is to help other people and to kind of be where Jim was such a mentor and helped you through all of those years. He lifted you up, and now you're reaching out to help lift other people up. And it's just a really beautiful way of giving back.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Where could people find you if they want to learn more about the services and coaching that you offer?
It will be in Instagram. You can DM me, right? I don't know what they call it, DM me or email me. I have an email there. Should get back to you.
Wonderful. Well, I will make sure that the contact information is in the show notes. And I just so appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for stopping by and telling us a little bit about your story. And I hope it inspires others.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Chee. Chee Chaw is just as inspiring and warm and kind as he comes off in that interview. He is a wonderful soul. I have 8 beautiful takeaways for you today. Number 1, we can do difficult things. Chee came to America, had to learn a new language, navigate a new country, learn the culture, figure out how to work in this country. And in his own words, it was really tough for him. But my friends, we can do hard things. I am learning every day. But the one thing I see so consistently with all the stories that I hear is just how well the human spirit can navigate through hard things. While we seek comfort and we long for things that are easy, we fail to acknowledge that the obstacles are actually what make us better. The obstacles make us stronger. So yes, my friends, let's remember we can do difficult things. Number 2, short-term pain for long-term gain. Chee taught us about being humble. He humbled himself to give up his manager trainee position for the role of a dishwasher. But his hard work paid off, and despite the jabs and curious looks from friends, he kept his eye on the long game, the prize waiting for him when he would be financially secure with all of his debts paid off. He was willing to downsize his living space for a time, knowing that the long-term win would be worth it. And fortunately, his amazing bride saw and loved the hardworking man who would make good on his promise. Chee kept his eye on the prize, endured some short-term pain for long-term gain, and that was the critical piece for him to reach his goals. Remember what Chee's manager said to him, "You don't have to be super smart, but you have something in you other people don't have. That's the fact that we work hard every single moment." Number 3, along those same lines, be willing to do what others won't. Do you want to succeed in your career? Then be willing to do what others won't. Chee was humble. He was willing to come in early and stay late, take the 3rd shift, and built a reputation that he was dependable and trustworthy. And that was what got him noticed. Not necessarily his knowledge or his skill or the credentials or the college degrees he had. No, he was trustworthy, dependable, and worked hard. Number 4, Christianity is the only religion that offers forgiveness. Hey, don't miss your opportunity to know Jesus, just as Chee said, because you will be missing out. Jim, Chee's mentor, revealed one key insight that truly changed the course of Chee's life, but it didn't hit him until 10 years later. That key insight was that Christianity offers forgiveness, something all humans desperately need, because every one of us are prone to fail. All of us are prone to make mistakes. We all offend others when we don't mean to, and we all speak words out of anger or hurt that we later regret. Forgiveness is the greatest gift you can receive. As a Christian, Chee's mentor didn't need to say much. He just spoke some simple yet profound truths about his faith. And then he let God and the Holy Spirit take it from there. My friends, we plant the seeds, but God makes them grow. And that's exactly what happened in Chee's heart with the truth about forgiveness. He needed to forgive, and he did. Number 5, why not ask God? Chee was working hard, doing all the things he felt he needed to do, but it finally hit him that he needed to ask God to provide the opportunities needed so Chee could become the man God wanted him to be. And God did not disappoint. As Chee said, it doesn't always come overnight, but you have to ask to receive. So why not ask God to show you the opportunities you need to become the person God wants you to be? Number 6, you are good enough in the eyes of your children. Oh, so many of us are hard on ourselves, very hard on ourselves. And if you are a parent, first, let me say congratulations, because it's the biggest blessing in this world to pour into the lives of little ones. Whether you're a parent, an aunt, an uncle, all they want is you. They want your presence, your time, your focused attention. You have all you need to be all they want. Number 7, perspective. Here in America, it's super easy to forget just how many opportunities and freedoms we get to enjoy every single day. Chee's perspective is one that we all need, and we all need to continue to remind ourselves of his perspective. Most people don't understand just how good we have it here and just how many freedoms we have in this country. And it's almost impossible to understand that unless you've had those freedoms taken away from you. Our freedoms are fragile. We have to stay vigilant to protect our freedoms and the opportunities we have in America. Perspective is a critical component of that. Number 8, what matters most is not how you start the race, but rather how you finish. Don't be afraid to downsize so you can pay off your bills. Step back to make room to step forward. Be humble, go to church, work hard, and finish strong. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please be encouraged and inspired. You can work hard and you can accomplish the dreams that you've set forth to accomplish just by doing the things that no one else wants to do. Be willing to work hard. And please share this episode. You never know what encouragement or inspiration might be in this conversation that someone else needs to hear. So pass it along, share it, like it, and subscribe. Let's flood the world with more encouragement. And if you're looking for some ways to continue to pray for your country, whether you are here in America or in any other nation, please check out the show notes for my free PDF, which is loaded with more than 50 biblical scriptures to guide your prayers. God can, does, and will continue to bless our leaders and our nations according to his will. So let's humble ourselves, let's repent, and let's pray to God to heal our land. Until next time, my friends, stay encouraged, be inspired, and we'll see you right back here next time at the Sunshine Cafe.